Oh, hi everybody. I'm back. Apparently you can hear everything. And when I was testing it, I was worried because I couldn't hear anything, and then I realized that I didn't have my earphones back in. So I'm not that old, but we do goofy things. So anyway, I know that's why I wanted to talk about different things. You know me, I jump around sometimes on the subjects. It's not that life is not that interesting just to stay on one subject, but I think sometimes I do it out of well, there's a lot of reasons people jump subjects. You know, it's not just if you have a creative mind, and also if you change your mind a lot, like think, oh, well, that's not interesting, or this is interesting, but that's not. But what I want to talk about today is, I mean, I know we have no other choice but just to keep going with the news cycle, and everything. And if you had any questions, a lot of people understand how the news cycles work and how advertisers sort of are, I mean, it's a business. News is a business. And I have not been in the news business in several decades, actually. Um, Pretty competitive, actually. And I found it to be even more competitive than show business, although that's pretty competitive also. But show business has a lot of different avenues to it, that you can go down. And if you want to, you can just go down the road of not making a lot of money or doing ultra low budget projects or something like that, or theater. But when I was in the news business, I worked mainly for small newspapers, but we did everything. I mean, we went to the city council meetings, took the picture. Sometimes I might be the only one at the newspaper office that actually held a journalism degree. So I have a bachelor's in journalism. But how all that works and how the whole social media thing has really changed our world. And it's funny because when I first caught the acting bug in my 40s, the first time I moved out to LA in 2003, I did a lot of it, with my mom, passing from cancer after fighting it for 11 years. And I need to throw myself into something yet again. I've been single most of my life, had a number of relationships, but I tend to throw myself or marry my different jobs and careers, regardless of the financial success of each one, as long as I can stay afloat. That's kind of been my my way of coping with this life, trying to keep it interesting. Always tried to keep my life interesting, and so that's something. I can't stand to have mediocrity. I mean, my life probably looks boring as whatever right now to some people, but I'm working on changing everything again. But and keeping everything that I want to keep. Anything kind of creative work I'm keeping. But if you had questions, maybe you're just not listening right now because you're busy at work or driving or whatever. Or it's hard because you can't really do chat box. It's too bad. If I was a real radio show, then you could call in and everything. Maybe someday I'll figure out how to do that too. See, so anyway, as I get older, I kind of have that joke about looking more like a radio person. I mean, it just, I think, I mean, that's another thing to talk about as you get older and you're not as cute as you used to be. And I mean, life is not easy. It's not for the faint-hearted, but it's rewarding. And sometimes we don't understand why we ended up in a certain circumstance, whether job, personal, whatever. But then if you go back and look at your life, you'll figure out, well, that's why, and I made that decision. But back to the original thought here, um, I guess, do people ever worry about? I guess the media actually. So many people get so upset, but actually now more than ever before, even though a lot of people will disagree, but we have actually more freedom of speech now than ever before because if you want to, you can just get on here and start your own YouTube channel or get on your Facebook, do a Facebook Live or Instagram Live, which I've never even, I think I did one Facebook Live. I've never done Instagram Live and I had so many Brad Pitt imposters that when somebody tried to get a hold of me that way, I didn't even know if that was the real person because, and I apologize to Mark Ruffalo if, I mean, not that he's looking for me, but I was in one of his classes. Studied from his favorite teacher, Joanne Linville, and one time he was like saying hi over Instagram Live, and I didn't join it because I thought it was another imposter, and I get that right now with a lot of them, like Jeff Goldblum, and I actually met him out a couple times. Not deliberately trying to meet him. Some of these imposters set up these meet and greets, and you got to be careful with that because I just met the different celebrities because I lived in LA out there pursuing like when the first time I unofficially met Brad Pitt for 2 seconds, I didn't even know who that was. And then the teacher comes running down the hall. Oh my God, I missed him. And I was just a substitute that day. And he was picking up some homework or something for one of his kids. I think it was out in the Palisades. This was years ago, maybe at least 10 years ago or more, maybe. So, well, a long time ago anyway. So, but and I was in different movies like Moneyball. I never thought about it. Then when I saw him on stage and saw all those people, I just got so excited. And you pick up on all that energy of all those people. And then I guess you've heard my story if you listened to that before. And then I had just imposters out of the woodworks. But anyway, tweeting me or direct messaging me and everything, like 100 of them and everything. But I did have a good result from that because I met one of my best friends and we talk a lot and text a lot. But she's an artist up in Canada and she's married and everything. But she kind of got pulled into the whole Brad Pitt thing. And she sent me some pictures from my birthday. She's so awesome. I was going to show you some of them. I think I've showed you some before. But I thought since I'm going live, I'm just going to kind of go freelance here since nobody wants to talk about what's going on in the news. But I mean, I actually have gotten so inspired by the Brian Craig show. I wanted to do like a little mini version of that because I just think that's so cool the way. Of course, he's worked in radio, professional radio for years, almost like a Rush Limbaugh type of thing. And he's has a radio show early in the morning, the Brian Craig show out in Florida, and it's a regular radio station. And then he does his own things and he does podcasts with his wife, and that's a whole nother thing. But I just think that's so cool. But back to Kim, we met over the Pit Imposters and we really helped each other get over it. In fact, if anybody's interested in really, because I know a lot of women and I guess some men too, because the imposters try to pretend all kinds of things. Um, but anyway, Kim has become a real good friend. But for my birthday, she sent me some pictures like her when she's a fan of Ruth Buzzy. And then here's the young Brad Pitt. I think you've seen these before, but I just thought that was so cool of her to send me these pictures. And that's another young Brad Pitt. He looks kind of beady-eyed there, but then she sent one of me. This is, when I was younger and cuter. Although right now I still don't have makeup on. I was gonna, if I stand here long enough, I'll show you how you can put. Most of you know, but you can put your makeup on if you're doing like a webcam or if you're actually filming, reverse video on your like iPad or iPhone. You can use that as a mirror. So, but yet that was me. That's me with younger. But I can kind of look like that if I spend a lot of time on hair and makeup. I can look close to that and get, take a lot of vitamins. I need to get more into Angela's products and do what Angela Shelton is got the Hot Mom box, and she's on TikTok a lot and also Snapchat with her boyfriend Nick, who's a personal trainer and also a life coach too. And they have the Sacred Circus Church, and her boyfriend Nick is like a personal trainer, and he'll talk, makes positive affirmation videos or audios for you, or videos too. But they are such an inspiration. But anyway, yeah, and here's another one of the older Brad Pitt. So, one thing I do admire about Brad Pitt is he had the nerve, not the nerve. Well, he did. That takes a lot of nerve. I mean, he went out to L.A. right out of college, which I think if you really want to make, and there's no guarantee you may not make it big like he did, but at least he knew to go out there when he first time the callings struck. And when I wanted to do all that, I was younger too, but I didn't have the courage, and I didn't really. Um, my grandmother would have said, "Oh, my soul," and even though it's so ironic because my mother had me in dancing classes and I was in high school musicals and all kinds of things growing up, but we danced at the state fair and did a lot of different things and used to go around to nursing homes and do shows. And but I think sometimes friends or family can be like that as long as it's kept like on a low key level. Then people are more comfort. Like as long as you're within their comfort zone. But even now though, I mean, if you get on YouTube and look at some of the videos on there, you might think, wow, that's kind of scary what's going on out in Hollywood. But that doesn't go on for everybody. And the key is, I mean, unless you're like really, well, super young and glamorous, or like a big movie star, they may try to get you at some of those wild parties. But um, there's a lot of really nice people out there, and they're not all like into all that crazy stuff or scary stuff. But that kind of stuff seems to exist, and not only in politics, but also in Hollywood. Or I think anytime there's big money involved, But the average actor, you know, doesn't really make much money. In fact, the average actor rarely makes money at acting, you know, because you have to do a number of auditions. Even Mark Ruffalo talked to us about that when we met him, how had to go on like, and he even posted it, like 600 auditions before he started booking work. But it is what it is, and basically, if you like it, you'll just keep doing it. You know, it's like me with the insurance. At one point, I thought it was interesting, and then until it wasn't. And it's gotten so difficult to make money off that now. Now, for example, there's a lot of misleading things about that too on the internet. Most insurance agents make 10% of the annual premium. So think about that. And they're on strictly commission. And there's a lot of sales calls that they normally are, when I was in it, we go on, and whether calls over the phone or in person, and you don't make any money. It's just the similarities between being an actor and being an insurance agent are striking as far as the monetary ways of earning a living at it. And you have to do a lot of your own self promotion as an insurance agent, usually too. I mean, it's different if you have a job working at a company and you're on a set salary, but most agents are not like that. And it's the same way for actors or writers. They're on their own. They're trying to promote their own projects, which are products, projects. Um, Same way with producers and writers, directors, having to just sell, you know, like the old expression goes, nothing ever happens until somebody sells something. And even if you're trying to compete for a job over at the grocery store, I mean, I've worked as a cashier, and as I got older, it got harder to get like regular jobs, like that normally require a degree or something. So I've done different things like call center work and cashier work, but those kind of jobs can be competitive too. It's so strange. So, but anyway, here's another picture that Kim did, and another one of Mr. Pitt. So anyway, but yes, she had to stop talking to the imposters. So yeah, her husband was getting kind of annoyed with her, but My hair looks pretty strange, but yeah, it's it's really funny about movie stars, and everything. I'm sure they're just people like the rest of us. Well, obviously they are, and it was so funny because the times that I could have maybe talked to some of them, I didn't think about it, and then when I really wanted to, then it's harder to meet them. That's kind of the way life goes, though. So, but yeah, I'm my nickname is Celery Queen Jean, and celery is a very healing product. Celery is a like a healing thing because it's if you research it, it heals parasites, but I think it kind of is spiritual. So it's Angela was researching it too. They have these celery vases back in the I think it was the Middle Ages or Italy's Elizabethan age or whatever. But these are not real. This is not real celery. It's like rubbery celery that you can just wave around, and you might have seen some of my other videos on that. But the funniest story about that, but it did help me on my healing journey. And but no, back to this other thing. How do you feel about? I think the fact that all these, anybody can start a YouTube channel now, and I think that's good though. You don't have to listen to it. I mean, I don't even know if anybody's listening to me right now. I mean, let me see if I have any. I don't see any chat stream. Maybe I maybe something happened. Maybe you know what, I might have clicked the wrong box or something on the chat. But I'm pretty sure you guys can hear me. So if not, maybe just comment somewhere else. Because I don't see anything like that. Well, what is this now? Oh, okay. Well, yeah, it is a little bit easier to record your videos ahead of time and then upload them. I mean, it takes a little more time, but you have a little more control over it and everything. And yeah, I'm still decluttering. I've got all this other stuff to declutter. I have tons of books. If anybody's ever interested in some books, but let me see if I can read this little voiceover thing for you real quick. Okay, so yeah, I just came up with this idea. This is just something where I'm practicing. Like you can imagine, like if you're reading copy, and this could apply for not only voiceover copy, but for on camera stuff too. Um, so, like I said before, pretend like you're in the Bossa Nova Cafe and you're just relaxing at work, and you're probably, maybe you're on a break or something, and you're looking at YouTube videos, and you're getting really scared about the world and everything. But everything seems to be under control. We'll get into politics, but just knowing what I know about all the different industries, like I said, I've been in all of them. I feel like I have. I've been in insurance. I've been in the media, news media. I've been in the entertainment business. I've been in education as a substitute teacher on and off for like 25 years, both in Texas and California. Then I've done market research. I've sold advertising. I've sold Mary Kay cosmetics. I've, worked retail and wholesale, and yeah, just, yeah, oh God. And it's funny because I think I said before, or maybe yesterday, I really just thought I'd get that having a job to me, and I think that's another reason I jumped around a lot. Having a job to me was just kind of like a holding pattern until I met Mr. Right, and then I could just stay home and make cookies and go shopping and fix up the house, and kind of old fashioned. And but it's sort of weird because of the way I was raised and everything, and pretty strict, control freak atmosphere kind of that's a whole other thing to get into. Um, I I got to the point where I was like engaged to, and then ended up marrying one, and then dated a number of men when I was a lot younger, in my 20s and early 30s, that were control freaks and condescending or dominant or semi abusive or whatever, or just basically like in charge, my way or the highway type of people, guys. So I thought early on that, well, maybe this isn't for me because I like being a free spirit. But it's so funny. And then the kind of guys that are like so sweet and nice and everything. I mean, unless they're like gay, like one of my best friends that's gay guy. He's a really nice guy in Florida. But but if they're just regular heterosexual guys that act like that, you don't know. Sometimes at first women aren't always attracted to those kind of guys, but now I've changed so much, and I really think I'm interested in meeting like a really nice guy. So, and if you're hung up on celebrities or whatever, I was, like I said, I was thinking about starting a support group for women or men that like fantasize about their perfect person, and yet that could be like keeping them from meeting the right person. And I've got like a lot of different things going that I'm doing, and also I wanted to uh, tell everybody about this new friend I met that wrote. She wrote this kind of horror story, scary drama, romance novel. Introduction to Frances Stein, and that's about a woman it's kind of scary, but she's always looking for the was always looking for the perfect man, and then decided to create one. She was a scientist and all this, so we may be working on that together. She's a really good writer. I'm not sure how much more I can adjust to that. She's already written a play and some other plays that I still need to look at again, but I just so admire people, and I have an interview with her on here. It's a little bit. Um, I think it came out okay considering we were in Starbucks. We were outside and it was too noisy. Then we had to go inside, and they let us tape it inside. But but yeah, you get in life, you know, you kind of end up like all of a sudden you're like realize, wow, I'm getting kind of old, and I better hurry up and do all the things I wanted to do. So I guess back to the original thing, I admire people that go out to LA when they're in their 20s, and also are, right out of college, or right at college age. Because another thing, but you don't really have to go to LA anymore or New York. You can just do all this from your place, and then, but you will have to travel a lot. And if you're in Texas, you'll have to drive around a lot, because they're building like a studio up in Fort Worth, and they've already got one, and then south of Austin, and then there's a number of other studios like in different areas in between, and then there's all these different cities that have things: Houston, Austin, Dallas, San Antonio, and I'm right in between Austin and Dallas. See, but it's all kind of all over the place now. But yeah, you don't really have to move to a major market, although it can help, of course, to move to a bigger market like New York or LA, or even Atlanta, or I guess for a while it was big. And but the whole pandemic, messed everything up, and then you had all the actor and writer strikes, and in a way that's all good. I am in SAG after, and I I have to really consider, how much SAG after work I can book, because some actors actually do go FICOR, which means you can audition for both. But then there's a lot of pros and cons, and once you do that, it's like an irreversible decision, as far as I know. And it took me 10 years to get into SAG after, and I sort of worked so hard to get into that. I mean, but it is what it is. And I've moved back and forth a lot too, and I think I really enjoyed the drive though. It's so beautiful. The drive to you know along the I-40 is more scenic than the other. But if you go along the I-40, even in past years, like even up to 5 years or more ago, the last time I drove it, I guess was over 5 years ago. Um, and then before that, when I'd moved back and forth before, you could see how the economy had really sort of been downsized and how so many places off the I-40 were, um, the Route 66 had really dwindled down. And and I guess a lot of that is because people buy stuff online even before all the economic downturns and all the other things that we've had, a myriad of things turning our world upside down. Um, it's funny, but all these things happen and the world just keeps spinning. And I guess that's what we have to keep doing. So I'm trying to figure out why I can't get my comments on here. Maybe I can go back and figure that out. Let me see. Well, I'm not sure how I can do that. Okay. I guess I was going to do that little commercial for you, though. I'll do that. I mean, it's not a commercial, it's a free thing that I'm doing. I'm practicing and I'm using the product of International Delight. So you're getting that company is getting a free ad from me, just like my free ad for pepperoni treats that my dog likes. Okay, so just pretend like you're drinking your coffee at your office, and then you can turn on the Bossa Nova Cafe and play that and pretend like you're, facing the ocean. Maybe some of you are lucky enough to face an ocean and have an office on the ocean. But for those of us that don't, um, you can do this. So, and you're drinking your coffee and you've added your International Delight. International Delight Coffee Creamer. Same delightful taste. New delightful bottle. Leave a little room for delight. So that's a sample of one. So anyway, maybe I'll do another one, a free one for Liberty Mutual. For drivers with accident forgiveness, Liberty Mutual won't raise your rates due to your first accident. See car insurance in a whole new light. Liberty Mutual Insurance. Okay, so that's just from a script, and you can do that yourself in practice. But there's a lot of great voiceover teachers out there, and I signed up for one class. The one of the best ones is David Lawrence. He's a great voiceover teacher. So anyway, let me see if see. I don't see where anybody is. Nobody's watching this today. Well, I don't blame you. Okay, so well, no, I shouldn't say that. That's putting myself down. But I was gonna like. I guess I could stay on longer. A minute. And just wait. But I think something's goofed up. I'm getting some. Unless they're commenting on my. I was trying to see if anybody had been commenting on my site. When I did this like it's coming off of my webcam, which would be on my computer. But anyway, well, I'm just learning stuff every day. I tell you. When Angela even sent me a little candle, which is so cute. To pray to meet my Mr. Right. I would probably need to meet someone who's, I don't know, who knows. Okay, so I'll go back to the other thing we were gonna, and I talked to my friend Kim about it. I thought about starting a little support group for people that got caught up in the celeb imposters, and because that could be so distracting. And I think most people are onto it now, though. Most people just ignore it. Because one guy that sometimes he reads with me over Zoom to do my auditions, he's up in Chicago. And he said that he was always getting calls from Ariana Grande. I mean, not calls, but text messages. And, it wasn't her, it was the imposters. And I think what they do, it's okay to reply to them, on the social media site and say, oh, yeah, great, or whatever. But once you start going into the direct message with them, that's where they all start using some kind of voodoo spells on you or something. I don't know what they're doing, but and then if they get you to go from there to the WhatsApp or Telegram or it used to be Hangouts, that's when they really start in. See, and they can really, take a lot of your time. I never had money for them or anything, and nor did Kim or a lot of people I've talked to. But unfortunately, some people did and believed them. But I think the biggest thing is it takes up your time and your energy, and that can be kind of sad in a way, if you think about it. So I was trying to put this like this. Okay, so anyway, I think I'll go right now. I just Now I'm disappointed because normally I would be able to see when I go like this on my phone, I can tell right away and get the people in the chat. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe I can look at my phone and see. Hello. Well, maybe since I'm going live here, maybe I can see what's going on live and see. That was 3 views 32 minutes ago, but I have this one going live right now. And we're live now. Um, hmm. Oh, wait a minute. 40 minutes ago, 30. Oh, this must be the newer one. And nobody's commented yet. I don't have a big following. This is, very competitive. Um, I will say, and that's understandable. A lot of people that watch the YouTube videos, they're looking for somebody young or crazy videos. And funny. I mean, there's some really funny videos. I might go to a class. It's a free class to learn how to do faceless videos too. Like have like another channel where you just repost funny videos, and you can make money like that. Maybe get more viewers because you have to have at least 500 subscribers and so many views to get. Occasionally I've gotten a lot of views, or my dog or cat has gotten a lot of views, but it's not been a regular basis. But that's another idea because there's like some really funny ones. There were these raccoons that were on a trampoline all night, and their security cameras caught it, and it was real. Like it wasn't like a AI thing, which that's a whole nother ball of wax. But back to that, people are still going to need emotions. Although with everything that has happened to us, people have been you know, but we're still emotional people, and we still have a heart and a soul, and but with everything that's happened to us and being so virtual on everything, it's almost like we've been kind of dummied down, not just intellectually but emotionally, and we get spoon fed all this information. And a lot of people are so gullible, I mean, you know, but I will say this, there's if you add up all the YouTube channels together and go from far left to far right and everything in between and mishmash them all together, you might find more truth in that than as a formula than you would in the mainstream. Not necessarily. I'm not trying to. I'm just a poor person. I'm not doing anything. I mean, whatever. So, but these people have big time jobs and they're paid by big time advertisers, and these people are paying a lot of money, and it's a business, you know. It's big business, actually, very big business. So, and I'm not going to mention any names right now about any of them. So, but they make a lot of money, whether they're in front of the camera or behind the camera. I mean, the big top people like that. And then, of course, they have a lot of freelancers too, which I was going to look into something like that too to use my news background and my Kramer acting and then my newspaper reporter skills. Because I used to have to do everything with that too. Um, but that's another idea too to think about. With the YouTube, we still have ad. Well, I don't have any yet, but I mean, you might see ads, but I'm not getting anything yet because I have to get more. I have to do more interesting things, and I have to be more of an interesting person. I mean, I'm trying to be, but what I need to do is I'm planning to get some people on the show to interview them. I've only interviewed a couple people so far, maybe two or three. I have to go back, but to get some people. So I don't have a budget to pay people that to come on either. So, but if out of the kindness of your heart you would love to come on my little channel and have me interview you, and I will promise to let you talk as much as you want. Now, if you want me to ask certain questions, or I can ask you questions and get you talking, but you can talk about whatever you want to, as long as we have to talk ahead of time because YouTube still has some rules. We have to keep it, let's keep it general audience or whatever. But anyway, well, I think general or PG is okay. Um, anyway, so I guess I'm going to go now, and this was like an experiment on YouTube Live for me. Team to it over and out.